I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast.
So today I'm going to continue the discussion about spoiling our children. And I just want to talk a little about why we do this. And the greatest motivation is that we want to spare our child from experiencing unpleasant circumstances. So when we're raising our kids, especially our first child, we so want to do a good job. We so want to help them. And we don't want them to have any suffering. A lot of us had great suffering. And so part of when we have kids, it's like, I don't want my kids to feel what I felt or to experience what I experienced. And so we try to take our own learning and use it to keep our children from suffering. Unfortunately, then our children can't learn life. I mean, everybody has to experience their own process and their own experience in order to grow and to learn and to become an adult. So many very anxious parents that are very concerned over or strongly attached to their children will spoil their children. Also, an only child or a youngest child tends to get more exposed to spoiling as our children who are, it's funny, Dreikur's called them delicate or sickly. I'm not sure what we call them today, but maybe children that are weaker or that seem to have some deficit where we feel like we need to particularly caretake for them. They arouse, we feel sorry for them, or we feel like, that the world hasn't treated them well, and so we need to make up for that. Which also, when children experience sickliness or some kind of a handicap or have something that causes us to feel sorry for them, those kids will tend to get pampered more as well.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the must not take yourself too seriously and 6'1" since that matters. And what do I even say other than, hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
Also, kids who are, Rudolph Dreikur's called them strikingly handsome, are likely to be pampered. And it's funny because now, I think that's true too. When you have a kid who's really, really nice looking or very, very smart, those kids tend to get indulged in areas where they could otherwise be learning to be courageous and excel. Another one that he talks about is the considerable influence of grandparents. So if the grandparents are overindulgent, this can often set up challenges for the parents in creating resourcefulness and courage in our children. So any circumstance with your child or a child that causes you to have kind of an unconscious desire to be of greater service, then that tends to set up this situation for pampering our kids. So what happens is any time that we feel this desire to shield our child from their experiences, to keep them from their suffering, what it usually does is it interrupts any order or regularity or any structure that we've created in our environment. So if you've set up a routine for this is how it works when we eat breakfast at a certain time, we eat lunch at a certain time, we go to school, we get dressed, we have bath time, but there's a certain order and regularity to life. And spoiling involves interrupting that consistency and allowing your child to, in today's terms, we call it get away with things. So if it's, dinner time in 45 minutes from now and your child starts whining and complaining they're hungry, when we give in to that to that whining, that complaining, and we don't stick with the routine, that's where the spoiling starts. So one of the things that is really helpful is having, when your kids are young, is having regular feeding times and regular nap times and that sort of thing. And that children benefit greatly from having consistency. Consistency is a really important part of them learning that the world has structure and order, and the world doesn't revolve around them, even though when they're little, it does in terms of how they think. But part of our socialization of them is to allow them to find out that they're not the center of the universe, that there's other people, there's other things going on, and that they need to learn to be patient. They need to learn that everything doesn't happen according to their immediate desires. So for today, look at all your structure, all your order, and see if there's times where you tend to want to give in to your kids and disrupt that order because of their demands. Have a great day. Happy parenting.
Thank you so much for joining me here at the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. I assume you're here because you're getting something out of these daily pep talks. And wouldn't it be great if more parents could hear more about these ideas for their children? And you can help me in a great way by liking the episodes, by sharing them on your social media, and especially by providing a review on your platform of choice. So if you could do me a huge favor and do that, it would really help get this out to many, many, many more parents. And we can all help our children feel more seen, heard, and understood, which is my life's work, is to make sure that all children feel loved and appreciated, and that we can discipline them without breaking their spirit. So I hope that you've enjoyed these podcasts and will continue to enjoy them. And I really appreciate any support you can give me here at Positive Parenting Pep Talks. Thank you so much. Have a great day and happy parenting.